Hey crew, happy Thursday. No, I didn't change. I'm so excited about this topic. I couldn't wait till tomorrow to film. So yes, for those of you paying close attention, I'm filming on Wednesday for Thursday's lesson, but it's one of my favorite topics. It's our rose rocks. All right, remember I shared with you these the other day, my Oklahoma rose rocks, and I have more at home, and I have more in, I told you that one, it just looks like a turtle to me. Doesn't that look like a turtle to you? Yes. So, some of your questions, they were very good. I've always loved rose rocks. I have seen them ever since I was a little girl. My aunt in Oklahoma had some. My mother has some. And a very, very good friend of my parents, her name was Libby Crawford. She had some rose rocks. So those people had them, and I would just look at them and I loved them, but I could never find any. And it wasn't until 4 years ago, maybe, I can remember very clearly the students I had then are freshmen in high school now. This should be their freshman year. And I was going up to Oklahoma, to Norman, to help my daughter find another place to live once her freshman year was over, when she was no longer living in the dorm. And there was this little house she wanted to look at, and by the railroad tracks, a really cute little house. And she and Mr. Wilson were walking around on the inside, and I, of course, was walking around on the outside. And there, on the owner's doorstep, was a collection of rose rocks. I was like, oh my goodness, I've never found these before, ever, ever, ever. And so I asked the homeowner if he wouldn't mind sharing. And he goes, oh gosh, take all you want. I find those every time I mow the lawn. They ruin my lawnmower. I was like, oh, you're kidding. I'm so sorry about your lawnmower, but thank you, thank you, thank you. So he had a little pile of them there on his front porch step. Julia did not end up living in that house, but I found the start of my rose rock collection. I have always loved roses, and I have always loved rocks. And when I found out about rose rocks, well, what a perfect combination. I had a grandfather who had enough roses in his yard that whenever you left his house, you left with a little bouquet of roses. So I've always wanted to try and do that. And then I found these rose rocks. Well, today, combining our reading and our writing and our grammar, 3 assignments into one. I love that. I'd rather have one assignment and do amazing on it than have 3 different little ones. So you're going to learn that about me. 3 different assignments all rolled into one. So today we're going to write nonfiction or fiction, your choice, about a subject of your choice. Now, I would like you to think of something that you're a semi-expert in, or something that you semi-really enjoy learning about. I've learned a little bit about some of you, your pet, like a ferret, or a pet iguana, or chameleon, or whatever those are, those little dragon, whatever, like lizards. I love lizards. Some of you are experts at different things at the ocean. Some of you are experts in Minecraft. Choose something that you know a little bit more about, that you consider yourself well knowledged in, but then you can also learn more about it. So here's what I did. I chose rose rocks, and then since I'm at school, I wasn't printing, but I looked up on my laptop. I just Googled Oklahoma rose rocks, and I found an article from the University of Oklahoma. Yay, go Sooners. And it talks all about the rose rocks. Now, if I was at home, I would print this article out, and then as I read it, I would highlight the things I found interesting, or put a block around the paragraphs I found interesting, or I would use post-it arrows, or little post-it notes, or medium post-it notes, or larger post-it notes all over this article, because when I share this article with you, it's not to sound like I'm just reading the article. It's to sound like I've educated myself and I now know something about these rose rocks. Okay? So if you talk about Minecraft, you might want to look up who started it, how did it start, the details of how this became such a popular game. If you have an author that you enjoy, you might want to research that author. Just do a quick Google search. This is not a deep research project. Just do a quick Google search, or ask a parent, but find some information. And then you're going to read that information, make it yours, and then put it into a writing. Fiction or nonfiction, you can include nonfiction facts in a fictional story. Red Tail Angels did that. It had correct historical facts of the war that was going on and who was in the war. And there were fighter pilots in the war. There were the ones that went up first to clear the way for the bombers. So all of those things were true facts, but the story they wove together was fiction. So same thing here. Gather your true facts about your topic. Organize how you want to present that, and then write it all down. Right? It's a simple 3 steps, so I don't want you to be overwhelmed. All right? Choose a topic that you like to know about, or that you know some about, maybe you want to know a little bit more officially. Maybe it's a favorite baseball player. Then notate those with your highlighter or your Post-its on wherever you find, and then write it out, how you've made it yours. Mrs. Wilson, I learned the most interesting fact today about Jackie Robinson. Did you know that number 42, blah, 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 blah. And I love that because I want to be a baseball player with integrity and passion, and just like Jackie Robinson. Boom, there's your writing. Okay. This is not a big, humongous research thing. This is just a good blurb, knowing that we stop to look up and find facts and make connections to it and deepen our learning about a subject. And in deepening our learning, then we're also learning how to put it on paper. So I will read more of this article on the rose rocks, the Oklahoma rose rocks. And here's why are they only in Oklahoma? How did they get their shape? How do they form? Some great information, and then it sends me to other resources. You can bet I'm going to have fun studying this. I'm not going to write a huge long paper. Not going to copy this word for word. That is a big word called plagiarism. And that will get you kicked out of college. You do not plagiarize. That's copying their words word for word without quoting them. And that's what I want to help teach you now, is how to put what you learn into your own words. Okay? Putting out what we learn into our own words. So think about a topic that you want to teach others. Then list the different categories you could include in that topic. And then begin your writing. All right? So I have my rose rocks. I could use some of those kind of where I first found them. Take it back. See, this is how you think it through. Rose rocks for sure. What sparked my interest, when I first found them, and then how that made me want to learn even more. And I could share that. Okay? So think about your topic that you want to know more about. Look at your list, look around your room, look around your house, find the things that interest you, and find something you want to learn more about. Then list the different things you want to know about it, or the different things that you do know about it. Maybe you know when it started. List them across your fingers. Maybe you know when it started. Maybe you know who the founder, the creator of a game was. And maybe you know statistics on how it took off and everyone became it became a favorite, like if you're thinking about Minecraft. Then write that information down. When you're through, then you need to read over it, be your own editor. I learned an editing technique when you're rereading it for spelling. Read it from the last word you wrote and just read the words going backwards, almost like playing a tape backwards, all the way back to the beginning, because that way your mind doesn't automatically spell it correctly for you and you miss it. That's a technique that editors use to find all the misspellings or grammar corrections. It doesn't have to be perfect by any means, I'm not asking that, but I do want you to go back and see what you can fix. You have time to use a dictionary. You have time to look it up on Google. You have time to make this nice before you read it and submit it to me. When you read through it today, we've studied nouns and pronouns before. I want you to go on a search within your own writing for any plural nouns. And when we say plural nouns, we mean what? We mean more than one. Okay? My rose rock is singular. My rose rocks are plural. Okay? So look and highlight any plural nouns that you find. Make sure that there's a capital letter at the beginning of every sentence and correct punctuation at the end of every sentence. Video yourself reading it to me, making a presentation, and take a picture of it and put it on Seesaw for me so that I can hear it and see it. We're doing nonfiction, a topic that you want to teach me about, and you're doing your grammar by checking capitalization, punctuation, and briefly checking spelling. All right? This will be fun. I cannot wait to learn all the different topics. It doesn't have to be due immediately Thursday. I'll leave this assignment and yesterday's both open until Friday so that you have time to do it really well, to put forth care and effort. Rose Rocks Part 2. I told you I was excited about this subject, so I think I'm going to break this Thursday lesson into 3 parts. The introductory part to help you choose, the second part to show you what I did with my information that I found, and then a third part to share with you my final writing. I was able to print off the article that I found on Google, just a quick, simple one. It happened to be from the Oklahoma University Geology Department, so that's a source I trust. It's a source that I feel like will be valid information. So then I've read it. And I've highlighted just a few things, and I've learned some new words. I had no clue what they meant. A couple that I need to go look up. So I took my article, I highlighted 1 or 2. You don't highlight the whole article. That doesn't help you, okay? Sometimes we think, oh, I highlighted the whole thing, it must be really important. No. The whole page is not important, especially for what we're doing right now. So if you look closely, I highlighted 1 or 2 sentences. I bracketed a paragraph that was important to me. And then I highlighted this because there's a word in there. I have no idea what it is. This is a geology report. I am not proficient in geology terms, so I'm going to learn some new words. Then I loved this picture. It's the picture of the largest rose rock that they've excavated or uncovered. Then it was actually a 4-page article. Then there's some more. But look at that whole page, and I only highlighted like 5 sentences. So I read the whole thing, and to be honest, there were some sentences that were way too big for me, that I did not quite understand them. I would have to take even more time to study them, all right? But I highlighted what I could understand and what I did like learning about them and how the clusters are formed. And then I didn't get anything on the last page other than the cool picture. And I actually have a rose rock similar to that at home. So this was part 2. How I took an article on something I wanted to know more about. Okay? So don't forget, find something that you want to teach us more about that you're already kind of an expert a little bit on, or that you is unique to you, like rose rocks are unique to me. And then plan it out, find out a little more information, and then throw it down on paper. So that's the part I'm on. I'm to the throw it down on paper part, and I'll get back with you soon. Bye. Okay, so here we go, part 3. I've chosen my topic in part 1 with the rose rocks. Oh, they disappeared because I moved them to talk to them. With my rose rocks. I just love holding them. I just love holding them. I love feeling the dirt. I love looking at their sweet shapes and just imagining them forming kind of under the ground, because when you first find them, the lady I saw find them, she cleans all this dirt off to reveal the part of the petals I call petals till I read. So here are my rocks. So here's my outline right there. All right, the state rock, minor occurrences, so some people have found them in Kansas and Morocco, and then Australia. Now, it created some questions for me as I read. This one, the state rock of Oklahoma, is the rose rock, and it made me want to know, what is the state rock of Texas? Any predictions? Well, I think we need to go find that out. Then, when it said minor occurrences in Kansas and Morocco and Australia, it made me question, because I thought I heard, and I put my question here, that they had been found in parts of Egypt as well. So I want to go digging, no pun intended. Okay, well maybe pun intended, digging for rocks. And then Noble, Oklahoma is the rose rock capital. And Noble, Oklahoma is literally 7 minutes down the road from Norman, Oklahoma. So now it also used 2 words that I know what one of them meant, but I'm not really sure how they use it in this. So I made a vocabulary box. I want to look up the word coalesce. I may not even be saying that right. And then precipitated, because it talks about how the minerals precipitated with some groundwater underneath. So I want to learn that so I can understand more. So then I did my outline. I'm going to talk about my family connection, my family background to it, to the state rock, to Noble, Oklahoma, just being in Norman and going to the Rose Rock Museum, because a really cool thing happened there, and my collection grew immensely when I went there. The legend I will touch on, but I won't stay on it long because this is a nonfiction piece. So I won't stay long on the legend. Why? Because it's fiction. And then I know my ending sentence. I haven't put this together in words, but I know my ending sentence. Okay? And my ending sentence goes like this. We can share so much through our writings. When I look at rose rocks, my head fills with questions, and my heart fills with memories. So I know how I want to close, but I haven't quite organized how I'm going to, I've organized it, but I haven't written my last part. So, you're writing a piece of your choice that you want to teach me about. You're learning a few new things about it, and then you're putting it down on paper. You're proofreading your paper to make sure you have capitalization at every sentence, that you capitalize the word I if you used it, and that you have ending punctuation at every sentence, and you've highlighted your plural nouns. Okay? You've highlighted your plural nouns. I can't wait to see what you've written and hear you read it to me. I love to be read to.